Hi, I'm James from Bay Area Family Canine Training, and today, guess what we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about pinch collars. Woohoo! So, let me get a pinch collar for you. Here's a pinch collar. Here's what we call a pinch collar. So, most people think that these collars are designed to put holes in the dog's neck. They think that they are like little needles, and they poke holes in the dog's neck, right? So I'll have to watch out because maybe I'll start, if I drink some water, maybe I'll drink some water at the end of the show and see if it leaves holes in my neck there. So this collar, what's it for? What's the design? Why do people think they think it's medieval, right? They look at it and they think it's designed to hurt your dog, right? A lot of people, tons of people come in here and they say, oh, I've never used that on my dog. Never, right? Probably most of them because the way they've seen it used is in the wrong manner, right? We use pinch collars, but we use it very differently. And I think more importantly, we don't force you to do anything with your dog, right? So if you don't want to use a pinch collar, by all means, don't use a pinch collar, right? So, a pinch collar, the name says it all, right? So there's two names, I guess you could call it. And sometimes I guess I kind of mess up too, calling it the wrong thing. It's called a pinch collar, or it could be called a prong collar, right? So I guess each name implies something different, but it's the same thing. The pinch collar is designed, when you pull it, if you can see that, when you pull it, it gets tighter and these squeeze together. So basically what they do is they take a piece of skin or fur or whatever it is, and they squeeze together like little what they're designed for is the dog's mouth, because the way that dogs correct each other in a natural pack, right, is what the alpha dog will do, will grab the other dog's throat and he'll squeeze, pressure, right? The dog submits, he's completely still, he lets go, right? If the dog is trying to do something, he squeezes harder, right? Now, I think if you look at a wolf pack, and maybe you got YouTube, you can look on Yellowstone and all kinds of different stuff, you don't see the wolf tearing the throat out of the other dog, right? Not in this pack, at least. Maybe if they're fighting somebody else in the other pack there, but not in their pack. So they're not killing each other, right? They're not killing. This is not designed to kill your dog, right? It's designed to correct your dog. So it's very important. If you have, I use an analogy when I'm talking to clients. I use the analogy of you have two police officers. You have a gun. You have a 45. It's a 45 Smith & Wesson, whatever kind of gun. So you have one guy who's a police officer over here, and he's got Smith & Wesson 45 on his side. This guy makes you feel a certain way. Then you have another guy over here, maybe with and excuse me, I'm not trying to, I know there's a whole bunch of stuff with the whole Trayvon thing and all that, I'm not trying to poke any fun or anything, but you have another guy in a hoodie or something like that, right? Let's just call him an unsavory character, right? It just doesn't look right? And he's got the same gun, right? It's the same gun, just two different people. One guy makes you feel good, another guy kind of gives you the heebie-jeebies, you know what I mean? Makes you a little scared. So that's the same thing with this, right? This is the same pinch collar, but you have two different people using it. You have a trained professional using it, such as myself, or you have somebody who doesn't know anything. They just went to a store, they just bought it and put it on their dog, and they have no idea what they're doing. So it's the same tool, it's just different people using it. So you have to consider who's using it, or even who taught you how to use it, right? So that's very important. We never use a pinch collar. We never just put a pinch collar on a dog and just start using it. We never use pinch collars on dogs that are under 6 months. We never use them on puppies. Just never use them on puppies, right? There's a lot of work that goes into this before we ever even actually start using it on a dog. So let me show you. See, this is what it does if you don't use it correctly. See, it leaves a big old scar right there. So don't do that. Don't do that, right? I'm just kidding, all right? I'm just kidding. I want to elaborate what this is. This is a scar from getting my thyroid taken out, so don't think that the pinch collar actually did it. As a matter of fact, I have some water. I want to show them that if I drink water after I had a pinch collar on, that it's not going to drip in my throat. So you watch, there's going to be no, watch this. See, nothing came out, right? And I even had a pinch collar on, so I'm okay. I'm okay. So that's a pinch collar. But another thing, just because we're here, I'm going to show you. This is called a choke chain, right? A choke chain is designed to do exactly that. Choke chain. So it's designed to choke, right? To choke a dog. Now, choke chains, we don't use choke chains in our training, except on aggressive dogs. The reason why we use choke chains on aggressive dogs is because the only way to stop a truly aggressive dog from biting you or somebody else, and for the safety of everyone, is actually to choke them, right? You couldn't put this chain on an aggressive dog and expect him to stop. This would only add to his anxiety possibly and make him more pissed off. So you need to shut the dog down, so to speak, and that's why we use a choke chain. So, but we don't use choke chains in our training. And I think it's important to say also, you know, we don't use these chains, neither of them, to actually train a dog, right? So what we use to train a dog is actually food. We use food to motivate the dog to learn, right? But once the dog learns, you're going to have to enforce your rules. And how do you do that, right? So you can't nobody can expect perfection from their dog, or can't expect your dog to want to do what you want them to do all the time, can you? Well, we can't expect people to do what we want them to do all the time, right? Like if somebody doesn't want, if the police don't want you to speed on the freeway, what do? They give you a ticket, right? They give you a ticket. So, but what would it be like if let's say the freeway, they had these big signs that said speed limit 65, and they glowed all day and all night long, 65, but there was no police cars. How many people do you think would obey that? That speed limit? Probably not very many, right? Maybe you, I don't know, maybe, but not me. So that's the way that is. But here we go. So this is a pinch collar, and so now you know. Another thing too, pinch collars is a good pinch. This is Herm Springer, by the way. This is Herm Springer, and this is the only stuff that we use. This is the only pinch collar stuff that we use. Herm Springer. There is, you can see cheap pinch collars that cost like $5 or something like that at the store. And the reason why is because the ends, these are rounded, right? On Herm Springer pinch collars. On the other ones, they're just chopped off and they're very sharp. They'll actually cut you if you're not careful. So that's why we use this stuff. This is good quality stuff, and we like the way it's designed and things of that sort. You have some pinch collars that are just regular, and you can adjust with the teeth here, and you have other ones where you actually have what we call a quick release, which is this little French clip here. So you squeeze it and it comes off like that. You have different sizes. This is what they call a 2.25 millimeter, which is the small one right here. This is 2.25. And then you have this one, which is 3.0. This is a 3 millimeter right here, pinch collar. This is 3 millimeter. So, and then they also have 3.2. They have 4.0, which is a big one. This is actually 4.0. This is a big one. Now, a lot of people think that the bigger the pinch collar, this is because it's for a big dog, right? You see these on like bull mastiffs and pit bulls and all that. No, that's not the way it works. So it's actually, the bigger the pinch collar, the less the sensation, right? So the smaller the pinch collar, actually the more pinchy it gets, right? So this one is a lot pinchy, this is less pinchy, and this is even less. This is like, if you have like the most sensitive dog in the world, you could use that, I guess. Sometimes you do want a bigger or a smaller pinch collar given the size of the dog, right? So you're not going to see this size pinch collar on a Shih Tzu, so to speak, right? And you're not going to see this size on a Shih Tzu, right? And you're not going to see, sometimes you're not going to see this on a Great Dane, right? So sometimes it is size appropriate, but you should contact a professional so that he knows what he's doing in order to get you the right one. When you go into some of the stores, you want to make sure that they educate you properly. The only way they can educate you properly is if they know, right? If they know themselves. So do yourself a favor, get the right one, or you can contact us here at Bay Area Family Canine Training, and we can steer you in the right direction. We'll never just sell a pinch collar to you without training, because it doesn't work like that. We don't feel, you can go buy it from somebody else for that. So we're about education here. So we're not going to just sell you some stuff just to put it on your dog. So we want to educate you on it. All right, if you have any questions, thank you for joining us. Call the number down here, right there. You see that number, right? 510-714-6641. Thank you for joining us. Have a good day. If you have any other questions, or if you've seen some training tools, please leave a comment below. I'd be glad to answer your questions. Thank you.